Marico, who just came out with its numbers. Let's try and understand the earnings this time around and bring in the management as well on the show right now. Joining us, it's going to be the management of Marico, just to walk you through what the numbers are like. Okay, Mr. Chaitanya Deshpande, EVP and Head Investor Relations at Marico joins in. Mr. Deshpande, hi. First, if you could tell me, what is this one-time loss that you've clocked to the tune of 1.75 crores on account of?
Actually, it's, sorry, did you say a one-time loss?
Yeah, isn't that the case? Of 1.75 crore rupees?
No, see, there is a very small amount there, which is actually, we are talking about impairment in the Kaya business. So the Kaya business has several clinics, and you keep testing each one of them for impairment. There are 107 odd clinics that we have in Kaya. So there's a small impairment that has been written down this time in the accounts. But overall, the numbers are looking good. We've ended this year with doing a turnover of over 4,000 crores. We've seen market share gains across product categories in India. So we've gained share in coconut oil, in Saffola, and hair oils. The international business has done well as well. We've seen growths of more than 30% happening in the international business. And then Kaya is also showing pretty good growth rates of the last few quarters. We've seen about 15% same-store growth in Kaya as well. The India business, of course, has had a phenomenal year. We've seen about a growth of about 37% happening in India. If you make an adjustment for Swikar, which was there in the base last year and is not there this year. So we're pretty happy with this year's results in terms of the way growth numbers have gone.
Deshpande, even as you report strong volume growth, the PAT figure is coming as a bit of a disappointment for the market. What's your sense? Is it because you're finding it difficult to pass on product price hikes to the consumer?
Actually, the margin numbers have been a little lower than last year. We've done about 12.5% EBITDA margin as against 13.2% last year. Yes, there has been a high level of inflation since H2 of last year. And even if you look at this year over last year, for some of the key raw materials like coconut oil, the raw material prices have gone up by 20%. They're higher by about 28% in safflower oil and 34% in rice bran oil. A large part of this has actually been passed back to the consumer. We have continued to invest in advertising as well. So we've got about 11.5% in advertising. If you look at numbers, however, at the PAT level and look at the growth, it does look a little lower. And that's because we have some extraordinary items in last year's numbers. So, for instance, we sold Swikar last year, and there is a profit of about 50 crores booked there. So on a like-to-like basis, the PAT numbers actually do look pretty good. You have a 25% growth in PAT over the previous year. If you adjust for all the extraordinary items.
Right. I just want some quick numbers from you. A, the volume growth for the quarter, because the street was expecting 12 to 14%. It seems like you've outdone the street estimate. And individual performances in terms of volume growth for Parachute as well as Saffola.
Yeah, the indexed growth for us is about 17%. So 11% is organic volume growth, and then there's a 6% that is getting added on because of the Vietnam acquisition. So volume like for like is 11% plus 6 coming from Vietnam. And then there's about 11% added on in terms of value pricing growth. In terms of volume growth for the key brands that you asked for, in the case of Parachute, it is 11% growth for the year. In the case of Saffola as well, it is 11%. That's because we've had a slightly lower growth rate in Saffola for this quarter, and that is on account of us cutting down some promotional quantities, as well as there's been some downstocking in CSD, which a lot of the companies are facing during this quarter. So Saffola's growth during quarter 4 is a little lower than one would have expected, but we think it's only a one-quarter phenomenon, and you'll see this growth coming back next year. In fact, our expectation from Saffola over the next year should be another 15 to 17% growth in volume.
Specifically about the skincare business, even though the revenue from this piece has doubled, but the segment is still making losses. What's the outlook looking like?
We think Kaya might see, it's a services business. It will take a little longer for this business to churn in the kind of profits that one might expect over the longer term. There is, if you look at the macros, there is a demand for these kind of services. So we remain very positive on the business. Over the last 6 quarters, we've seen same-store growth taking place. The number that you see today is about a 29 crore loss in Kaya over a 279 crores turnover. Is also partly on account of some one-time entries that have entered this time's accounts to the extent of about 13 or 14 crores. We believe during FY13 we might still be in the investment phase. We'll come close to a break-even, and our expectation is that we will be able to break even in this business by FY14 for certain.
Right. Quickly then, what about the ad spends? Because they have increased significantly as a percentage of your sales. What's the way forward? How much are you planning to spend in the next 2 quarters or the entire financial year?
Yeah, typically, if you look at ad spends, they may be skews from one quarter to another. So for the year as a whole, they have been at 11.5% of sales, which is around the levels that we would expect them to be. During this quarter, you would see a much larger percentage, a little over 14%, and that's because some of it has got bunched up. So we had an ad campaign for X-Men in Vietnam. We've launched a bunch of hair oils in Bangladesh, and that's why we had a higher ad spend in Bangladesh as well. And then in India, you had support given to both our oats and the Parachutes Advanced Body Lotion. So it was a bunching of some of these new products that has led to this 14% in advertising, but typically we would expect this to continue in the range of 11.5% or so.
Right. Mr. Deshpande, final word on the acquisition of the personal care business from Reckitt Benckiser. How is that coming along as far as integration is concerned?
We still have to actually complete the closing of that transaction. That is expected to happen during the month of May. There's a process that is on right now where the PC business, the Paras personal care business, is getting demerged into another company, which we will acquire. So we expect the closing of that transaction to happen in May. We've, of course, started preparing for the integration, and integration team is in place. We've been constantly in touch with the Reckitt Benckiser team on ensuring that we have a smooth transition. We have a sales transition services agreement with them and also one for manufacturing. So over the next 3 months or so, we will have their support. But we are well geared up to ensure that the entire integration process moves off smoothly.